Hey guys, sorry it's been a while, and well, you know what it is. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and before you know it, you haven't done a video in a while. But I thought, as it's been a little while, I would basically do a little sort of update as to what additions I've had to my stash over the last few months. It's also going to be some of the subjects that I will do in here. I'll do some inbox reviews for you guys. I'm sorry, as I say, I haven't done any videos in a while, but work's been busy. I've had hours here, there and everywhere. So by the time I come home, I'm just pretty wiped out. And whatever free time I do get, I end up concentrating on getting the housework done, etc. And then by the time that's done, I don't have any spare time. So I'm having to do videos as and when I can. So if they're a little bit infrequent, you'll have to just bear with me, guys, okay? Anyway, what I thought I'd start off with is the other week was actually my brother's birthday on the 12th of March. Although that's nearly a month ago now. Obviously I went over there and dropped his present off to him, as well as having a little catch up. And see what his latest projects are, because I must admit he's getting better and better at his builds. He really is. He doesn't get much time these days, to be honest with you. He's got about 9 commissions in tow at the moment through friends that he knows, in the working field that he does, etc. And he just gave me a little update on what he's done so far, you know, and obviously I went and treated him to a kit. I got him the Rebelle Apollo Saturn V rocket, which is just something completely different for a change, and in turn, bless him, he gave me back into my stash, which he's had in reserve ever since I moved, my old 1/48 Airfix TSR2, and I've got aftermarket after aftermarket after aftermarket thrown at this now. So as I'm going to get this built, it's going to be one hell of a project, because I mean this aircraft, had it had its potential to go into service, would have been a well beater, but we know the history, we know the controversy, and I just think aesthetically it's a beautiful looking aircraft. And I've always been fascinated by the story of it. So bless him, some years ago him and his partner bought this for me. So since then I've been getting all the aftermarket I can for it, and obviously a few books to do a lot of research on it. So there you go, that will get up to you for a future project. And it's massive, so if you want to have a look at the size of it, just check back on my reviews some years ago. I think I did a review on this about 5 years ago, I'm not sure, it might even be longer than that, I don't know, but there you go. Anyway, I'll put that down there. And then bless him, he went and got me something out of his stash in way of return, which was this Vesda MiG-31. This is the single seat version, interceptor version. And before everybody starts kicking off, why are you getting in Russian aircraft, why are you doing this, why are you doing that in regard to Russia? Okay, right, just to put the record straight, I do not stand for what Putin and his cronies are doing right now in Ukraine. I'm appalled by it. Now, I know they're using these weapons on the basis of that, but I don't look at what they're being used for or what they represent. It's just purely the engineering side that interests me. I mean, we could say the same about people who build Luftwaffe aircraft. Why do you buy German aircraft in regard to what they did? We, as a hobby, do not condone any form of genocide or anything that's happened in history. Okay, it's just purely the engineering side of it, and it is part of history whether we like it or not. So, you know, I don't, as I say, I don't condone what's happening out there, and I am very much with everybody else and stand alongside the Ukrainians, and by God are they giving Putin a bloody nose. So fair play to them, and I'm sure with our support from the West, this war will end soon, and hopefully Putin will be overthrown. But as I say, I'm sure he's going to get his karma at some stage anyway, so Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so that's the end of my little rant on that matter. So if anybody starts getting political on my comments or anything like that, your comment will be removed. Period. All right. So there you go. Right. And next up, in my support for the Ukrainians, actually, I've got a few ICM kits in. Obviously, they're going to get harder to get hold of at the moment with the way things are. Bless them. So I managed to get hold of this Spitfire in the Russian Air Force markings with the ground crew from the Second World War. And to be honest with you, the LF90 is one of my favourite marks of Spitfire, and I'm sure that'll be a good basis for a diorama. I've actually managed to source some time ago some decals from AMI for Russian Spitfires, and it actually features the one that's in the box, which is that marking there. So that's the one I'm going to plumb for. So there you go. So next up, after that, if I just move that out of the way, we got a big beastie. This one I actually just recently got in, I think this week actually. It's my only treat of the month for myself. I'd had it on reserve for about 4 weeks when it came in from Mike Jolly Hobbies. So he was, blessing me, he was good enough. Well, Danny, I should mention his word, one of his employees, was good enough to keep this a buy for me. And it's of an iconic night fighter from the Second World War on the side of the Luftwaffe. It's the DO17N1. And it's very similar to the DO217 correction N1, not DO17. It's very similar, as of the same ilk, but it's got inline DP601A engines. The detail in this is absolutely first rate. I will be doing an inbox review of this, and you do get a lot for your money. You really do. It's a superb looking kit. So there you go. Right. Following that, actually I'm doing this in reverse because I did a video just now and I left some subjects out, so yeah, I'm going to have to sort of balance this out a little bit. This one is a superb little helicopter that actually served the Royal Navy and the British Army Air Corps for many years, as well as the Air Force. It's the old Westland Gazelle, and this is actually a reboxing of the old Hilaire kit in 1/48. This is actually reboxed by KMP. It is a bit basic, there's not a lot to it, so I'm going to see if I can source some aftermarket to upgrade the detail on it. It does actually come in the markings of an aircraft that was actually involved in the Iraq War, which you can see on there. Also the Army Air Corps with the UN, which was involved in the war in Bosnia. Or was actually, no, it's actually 1982. And then you've got the Australian Air Force as well as the Irish Air Corps. So yeah, should make a nice little kit, that one. Let's pop that under there. That's better, that balances it out a bit more. And also an old favourite of mine, which is one of my favourite Second World War fighters. A little 1/72nd Airfix Hurricane early Mark 1. It's done in the markings of an aircraft that was with the BEF in spring of 1939. And yeah, it should make for a good little kit. I was going to get a special hobby one, but by Christ, were they asking a price for that one. So I thought, well, I'll settle with this little baby instead. So there you go. And then obviously my love of civil aviation has been recouped with obviously watching Big Jet TV through the lockdowns, and I'm still a big fan of Jerry and his live streams. It is of course the iconic 757, which is actually produced by Vesta. Now before this one came out, you only had the old mini craft kit, which would cost you a bomb. This one I managed to get for, listen for it, 21 quid. And in that case I not only got one, but I actually got two. Now the reason being is simple, because I'm actually going to build these as two British Airways aircraft. and I've got the aftermarket decals for it. Where did I put the other one? Oh, here it is. First one's going to be in the BA Niga scheme, which is actually decals produced by a company called 26 Decals. Now, I'm sorry if this appears backwards, but I've had to reverse the camera around in order for me to do this video. So bear with me on that, guys. But yeah, it looks super in that scheme, and I actually remember those when they were being introduced into service to take over from the old Trident back in, I think it was about 1986. Which was the days when I used to go aircraft spotting in the old Queen's Building at Heathrow. So yeah, and then I've also got a version in the Landor scheme as well, produced by the same company, 26 Decals. You've also got the option in this to do in the old BCAL scheme, British Caledonian scheme as well. So yeah, I might even get a third one in that case, but we'll see. Right, following on from that, I've got another lovely aircraft, which is of the modern era of airliners. Now, if you remember, I did the inbox review of the Zvezda kit and compared it to the size of the 747, and it is a big old lump. Well, that was the 1000. I've now got the Rebelle 900, and this is in the markings of Lufthansa, which is their launch customer for this version. Detail looks lovely on it, as you can see from there. And again, it's going to be a big old lump. And I've got this one on eBay from a seller for about, I think it was about 19 quid. And the state of the box, well, that's the reason why he was selling it off cheap. But everything is inside. I've checked it. So I'll probably do an inbox review of that at some stage. And then following that, I managed to get a couple of old Eastern Express kits. Obviously, this is another Russian aircraft. It is the Ilyushin IL-96. It's done in the markings of a government aircraft, but considering the times that we're in, I don't think that would be appropriate. And I've had a look at this. Oh boy, yeah, it's a rough looking kit. It's going to need some work doing on it. I think the trouble with Eastern Express, it can be hit and miss with their kits. Sometimes you get a good kit from them, and other times you get an absolute dog. And I think this one's going to be a bit of a dog. But because of what it is, that's the reason I bought it, because I've got the earlier version of the IL-96 in my stash. So, having thought that, I looked around and I thought, well, I'll get some aftermarket decals. And I've actually got this from a company called, if I can look it up, PAS Decals, which actually was based out in Russia, but I got these before obviously the Ukrainian war kicked off, and I was surprised at how quickly they came. So the guy who actually sold them to me was really lovely, and yeah, so thanks buddy, I really appreciate that, although he may not see this because unfortunately the media's been censored at the moment, but there you go. But yeah, that's the sort of classic scheme I was going to do it in, so there you go. Following that, another old classic airliner. It's one of the old classic tri-jets of its time. It's the L1011 TriStar. This is a slightly better kit. The moulding on it is not bad actually. It's going to be a hell of a big old lump when I build it, and I've actually got some aftermarket decals for an old Court Line TriStar to be built in. And if anybody remembers those old colourful aircraft from the old 1970s, early 70s, they were chiefly based at Luton, little package deal airliner, and unfortunately they went bust around about 74. Something to do with the fuel crisis and the way the management structure was at the time, which was a bit sad. So all those colourful aircraft disappeared off the scene. So I thought, well, I'd do it in an old classic scheme. So there you go. And then following that, an unusual looking aircraft. This is again another Russian one. It's used principally as a navigation trainer. It's actually based on the old Tu-134 airliner. I just thought it's something a bit unusual. And it's the Tu-124 UBL crusty B. So yeah, it's just an unusual looking shape, and I just thought, I'll get it. You know, it's just something different. So there you go. It's quite a colourful colour scheme as well, so there you are. And then following on from that, one more classic old jet I used to see a lot of at Heathrow during the 90s and 80s, back in the day, which is now virtually a museum piece, is the old Airfix DC9. Now I actually managed to get this one off a seller for 20 quid. And he had 727s and all that sort of thing. Now I've got the 100 727. I want to get a hold of the 200 because I've got a BA scheme to put that in. So yeah, but that one I'm going to source some aftermarket decals for it. I'm going to see if I can either do it in a KLM jet or better still an old British Midlands jet. So yeah, that'd be interesting to do. There you go. And I've actually got an aftermarket set with that one as well. Anyway, moving on from that, I've got a chopper. This one is one of my favourite aircraft. It's a workhorse of the RAF and has been since the Falklands War 40 years ago this month. It's the old MH47E Chinook. Now you've got the option of doing this in a US Marines version or an RAF version, and obviously you know what version I'm going to do this in. Yeah, you guessed it, the RAF version. It's a favourite of mine. I've seen it at aerial displays where they throw this beast around in the sky, and I just love it. I mean, the sound of it, you can hear it coming miles away, with that distinctive thwack, 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 thwack of the old rotors. I've had a few of them fly over here actually. We used to see a lot of them over when I was living in Ascot, obviously during the time of the pandemic, because they were actually ferrying a lot of the NHS staff around. So from Odium, so there you go. So yeah, that should be a good one. And I think I had one previously and did an inbox review on that, so check that out. If I haven't, guys, let me know in the comments and I'll do one for you. Okay, now this one I've had on pre-order for for nearly a year when Edward announced they were going to release it. I missed out on the 148th version, but I managed to get a little 72nd version. It's based on the Rebelle kit, which funny enough I've got a GR1 in my stash with. But as soon as it was announced, I went on to MJW Hobbies and asked them to reserve it for me. So, because I know these things just go like hotcakes. I know with the 48th version, as soon as it was issued, all the pre-orders just went and it was gone. So when they announced this one was coming out, I got myself in there, and it is of course the Edward Desert Babes Tornado GR1. It's a lovely looking little kit, lovely detail on it, and obviously with the aftermarket it's going to make a superb build. The only thing is that I've got to find out if the aircraft that John Nichol flew on is in his box, because I've actually got the book about its experiences on it, which I got as a Christmas present from my brother. So yeah, there you go. Okay, and then nearly getting to the end of aircraft. Now I've got another one here. It's another ICM kit. Funnily enough, it's another MiG-31. This one is the B variant, the twin seat version. I've had a look inside. Gorgeous looking kit. Detail on it for a 72nd kit is absolutely exquisite, and I will be doing an inbox review on this, so look out for that one, chaps. And I've actually seen my brother's one built up, and it does make a beautiful kit. Anyway, again, as I'm a fan of Jerry and Big Jet TV, he's been at Coningsby a few times, and the last time I saw it I thought I've got to get a Typhoon. I did have a 48th version that sold that on some years ago from Rebelle, but this one is a little 72nd kit because I'm going to get that in a single seater and do the single seater and the official display aircraft scheme from last year, which is the Blackjack, because Extra Decal have actually issued that colour scheme. So there you go. This is the 2-seat version, which is the B version. You do have the option of doing them in 4 aircraft of all 4 different air forces. You've got the Italian Air Force at the top, RAF version, which is the version I'm going to do for 29 Squadron at Coningsby. You've got the German version and also a Spanish variant. So there you go. Again, I've had a look at it, not a bad little kit. Probably needs a little bit of up detailing in regards to the cockpit, so that's about it really. So I'll probably do an inbox review on that at some stage. Right, final 3 kits that we've got in the stash are armour. I must admit, I've been buying more aircraft than I've been armour. It's funny how things swing and change when you get into this hobby. I was chiefly armour, now I've gone back to my old original, which is aircraft. But if there's anything interesting pieces that come along, then I'll snap them up. And this beast, I actually saw at Bollington. It was an actual version. It was captured during I think the Second Gulf War. And I saw this beast actually operating. And it's a smoky old thing, but it does look stealthy. This is Tamiya's old T72 M1 tank. It is a beast of a kit. I know that Main and others have brought up upgraded versions, but I thought this is the cheaper variant that I can afford in my pocket. I got this one for 27 quid. Now you got the option of doing a Russian, which I'm not going to do for obvious reasons, a Polish variant, which is most probably likely, or even the Iraqi version, which is more than likely. There probably is a basis of getting some aftermarket tracks on this, and I'll probably get a metal barrel, but other than that, that'll be it really. Yeah, it's not a bad little kit, so there you go. In fact, my brother's built this and it does look awesome. And an old favourite of mine, as you know, yes, you've guessed it, it's a Tiger. This one's the mid-production, and I'm hoping to do this along with some aftermarket decals as Otto Karas' Tiger at the Battle of Malinovka. I was thinking of getting a Dragon kit, but to be honest with you, it's £63. That's a bit too excessive. I know the detail's far better, but I can get aftermarket to upgrade this. So I'll get aftermarket metal tracks. I've got a big headset that I've seen online, which I'm going to get hold of, and I've also got some aftermarket decals. So say no more. So there you go. And then finally, as regards kits, this one again I got from MJW Hobbies. As soon as it came up, I thought I've got to have this. It's the Ryefield Stug 3 Aus G. I will be doing an inbox redo. Actually, it's an early production as well, and it's one I will certainly be doing an inbox review on. I've had a look at it, and what a kit! It is a real crisp beauty. Stacked with absolute stacks of bags of sprues. So that's going to be a nice meaty little build as and when I get around to building it. So that's it kit wise. Now I did get some reading material and some aftermarket decals, and the decals I've actually got myself over the last few months. This is actually a tech mod one of the old Vickers Wellington Mark 1C. I was going to get the Airfix kit, and I wish God I'd held on to it instead of selling it off, because you can't get hold of it now, and if you do get hold of it on eBay, it will cost you a bomb. So I'm going to get the Italeri one that's been issued and upgrade that, and then I may well get the Mark II, which is currently on release, and do it as an open version with the interior. So yeah, there you go. And you've even got the option of doing one that was based in Egypt. So yeah, that's that. I also bought off a second-hand seller some Fujimi decals of a Phantom FG1. Reason being is because they've got the original scheme with that which was on the nose in the last years of the Art Royal Service. Now either do that or do it as the current one that's actually in the box of the Airfix kit. This I might save for the Wessex possibly. I don't know, I haven't made my mind up yet, but that's for something in the future. And I also managed to get some other aftermarket decals. I've got Star Decals Desert Storm set, because I'm hoping to get that as well as the AS90 again, which, as you remember, was the old Trumpy kit I built some years ago, but unfortunately it got a little bit broken and it's been donated to somebody else when I moved. So I'm hoping to get the Trumpy kit in again and build that, because that was a beaut. But I'll do it in a Desert Storm version this time. And then also I managed to get some 1/48 decals for some classic kits. This one, reason being I got this extra decal set is because it's also got the markings of the Spitfire prototype. Now, and as you know, I've got in my stash the early Mark 1 from Edward. Now, I may well get another one and do it in the markings of the prototype and convert it and do it that way. So yeah, that's a future project. And I also managed to get from Extra Decal a set of decals for the Hurricane as well, which I've got in 1/48. And they've actually got featured Douglas Bader's aircraft LED. So that's why I got them, because I'm going to build one of those Hurricane Mark 1s into Bader's aircraft from 242 Squadron during the Battle of Britain. And then my final two decals are of an aircraft which is a favourite of mine. It's a classic retro jet and I've always loved it, the VC10. And when I saw these, I thought, I can't let these go. I've got one in the Gulf War colour scheme, which is what it's going to look like when it's built. That's the old Gulf Air colour scheme. And another one in the old Ghana Airways scheme. Now, I remember seeing both of these at Heathrow back in the day. And when I saw them, I thought, oh, I've got to get them. I've got to get them, because that would make such a contrast with the BA bird and BIC birds I'm planning to build in the future. And then finally, my cousin the other day, bless him, just before my birthday, which is just the Sunday just gone. So 21 plus again, guys. That's all I'm saying about that. And yeah, I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking everybody for their very, very kind and lovely messages on my birthday as well. So thank you guys, it means a lot. And I will admit the other half spoilt me rotten as well, bless her. So thank you, darling. Mwah. Appreciate it. You made my weekend, you really did. And anyway, getting back to that, a few days before my birthday, my cousin Paul, who is a bit of a modeller, or was in the past, I don't know if he still does it these days, he kindly actually got me this book through the post, unexpectedly. It's basically to build paper models of aircraft. And you've got such iconic aircraft as Blério's aircraft, which he crossed the channel on. What else have I got? Sopwith Camel, or is that Sopwith Pup? No, it's a Sopwith Camel. I get confused with the two. Also, Richthofen's DR1, and then you've got the, what's that? Oh, that's the Pup. No, it's the Camel. Yeah, Richthofen's DR1, the Red Baron. You've even got Vickers Vimy, and a Curtis Jenny, which is right next to it. What else? Ford Tri-Motor. And a few. I've got some of the record breakers as well that she set some records. I've got the old Ryan of what was his name? I forgot his name. Charles Lindbergh, the Spirit of St. Louis. Now I wish somebody would reissue a kit of that. I really would. And then obviously you've got the Lockheed Vega as well, which was flown by, oh crikey, I've forgotten the name. No, it's just the Lockheed Vega. Was it Amelia Earhart? Yeah, she disappeared, and they've actually just recently found her Beechcraft. So yeah, you've even got the Gypsy Moth. Then you're on to the Schneider racers like the Mackie MC72. I wonder if they got the 6B in here. No, surprisingly, they've even got the little Guppy. There you go. And there's the Electra that she unfortunately disappeared on, which they found the wreckage of, apparently. DC3. There you go. You've even got Howard Hughes' aircraft as well. And then you got the BF 109, which is actually the Balkan, which was used in the Battle of Britain film. B-17, G, as it were. Spitfire PR Mark 16, is that the 16? I can't remember. And then obviously coming on to your modern stuff, like the Gloucester E2839 Whittle, which was the first ever British jet to fly. You got the iconic Lank, which is a favourite of mine. P51 Mustang Hellcat, and then you got the old Connie, Bell X1, even the Spruce Goose. That was Howard Hughes' last aircraft that set up. Oh, it only flew once, didn't it? Here you got the MiG-15, Aero Car, the Comet, B-52, the U-2, the Vulcan, X-1, Harrier, Croc, even Air Force One, look. There you go. Concorde, F-14 Tomcat, Nighthawk, Rutan Voyager, the Beluga, okay. B2 Stealth, 380 of course. Oops, sorry, the kit's just fallen down. You've got it, they're all here. So, thank you, Paul. Much appreciated, my friend. And that's it. What else did I get? Oh, I've got some other books as well. These I've actually got from the works. I'm not kidding you. You can get them dirt cheap. Absolutely dirt cheap. One I actually got online, which is a book written by a pilot called Richard Hillary. It was the first book of an Ace's experiences, I think, written. Or one of them. And it was published in 1942. Unfortunately, he died and didn't survive the war. It was just about his life. It was his memoirs of his days flying a Spitfire during the Battle of Britain. Unfortunately, around about 3rd of September, he was shot down and seriously burned. But with the old Archie McIndoe and his guinea pig club, they managed to reconstruct his face and stuff with medical surgery, and he flew on in the Air Force. But as I say, he was shot down in 1942 and unfortunately lost to us. But it was one of the first publications of fight pilots' experience during the Second World War, so that should make for good reading. And I think there's a picture of him, if I can find it. Let's have a look. Oh, this is him on the back before his accident, and this was after he'd had his plastic surgery. So there you go. So yeah, and this one is going to be a really fascinating read. This one is one I actually got in the works for about £4. It's written by ex-soldier on the German side on journey, writing about its experiences on the Russian front. It's called Blood Red Snow, and it's written by Gunter Koschorek. It's his day-by-day diary of its experiences out in the war in Russia during the Second World War on the Eastern Front, so that should make for fascinating reading. And also I've got a favourite of mine I got this for £3, believe it or not, about the history of the Hurricane, which is a favourite aircraft of mine during the Second World War. In fact, it's my favourite fighter of the Second World War. So yeah, that one bore the brunt of the Battle of Britain and was on many, many fronts, and a very sturdy aircraft it was too. So yeah, and it was the first modern winged monoplane fight to enter RAF service. I nearly got tongue-tied then. Mind you, I am 56 now and I am getting on a bit. Oops, let me age out. Oh, sorry about that, guys. And I think that just about covers it, guys. So this video's nearly been going on for about 35 minutes. So I'm going to nip off now, get on with what I need to do. And in the meantime, stay kit crazy, happy modelling, and stay safe. And as I'm going to get some free time, I'll knock out an inbox review for you guys. So in the meantime, you take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.